Welcome to the Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery Podcast. I'm Dr. Jay Calvert, and I'm here today, once again, with Dr. Millicent Rovelo.
Why, hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing very well, and I have a question for you.
Shoot.
What's with the Botox?
What's with the Botox?
I mean, Jesus Christ.
All right,
Sorry.
First of all, let me go on
I
record.
don't want to take the Lord's name in vain over this, but
But it is Botox.
I think I need to take his, I mean,
You
seriously,
like-
like, what is with the Botox?
I love Botox. I honestly love
So
it.
It's great.
I just constant infusion, please.
I mean, it's true. I mean, Botox really helps.
It's amazing. I mean, okay, all joking aside.
First of all, you look
Botox.
like you're like 19 years old.
Well, thank you. It's the Botox.
Is it?
Okay, honest truth, I've been doing Botox since I was 25. No, earlier than that.
And I was just going to say, when do you start?
So, my personal story, I was a medical student and I was walking around always anxious and worried about everything. I had a 2-year-old child, I was in medical school, I was worried about life.
Because that's easy.
Because that's easy. Just throw that out there. And I'm looking in
Chip
the
shot.
mirrors and I'm like, I could see this constant frown between my eyebrows. And I wasn't trying to frown, I was just walking around deep in thought and, thinking about things and worried and concerned. And I was like, oh, that's gotta go. Went to my friendly dermatologist, she did some Botox on me, and that was it. I was done.
Hooked.
Hooked. And I've done it routinely since, age 23, 4,
Wow.
something like that.
Somebody asked me today, when do you start? And I said, usually 23, 24, 25. It's a preventative move.
Yeah.
Um,
I think you have to have wrinkles to start with. So,
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back to the basics. What is Botox?
Botox is a neurotoxin derived from botulism it's botulinum toxin, and it is a neurotoxin that stops the signal from a nerve going to a muscle and stops the muscle from moving because there's no signal telling it to move.
That's correct. Right. So it's a temporary paralysis of the muscles. And in the form of botulism toxin, Botox, we can temporarily paralyze any muscle that we inject it into.
And we can paralyze it to differing degrees
Absolutely.
based on dose.
Correct. And how much movement you want. There are some people that come in and say they want to look completely frozen. They want no movement in their face.
Yep.
They get more Botox.
Patients say that all the time.
And then some who say they want the actor's Botox, which means they can still move their face, they can still do their muscles of facial expression. They're just a little bit smoother.
They need to
looking.
emote.
They need to emote. That is correct.
And so if you need to emote, you're going to need some movement.
That's what we see here in Beverly Hills.
You
We
can't
get
be
the
like,
actor's Botox.
oh my God, I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work
Oh,
like that. It's not
this
going to
is
get you in
great.
parts. Not at all.
You're not going to get the next big thing. with
No.
that.
And so Botox is the name brand of a specific kind of botulism toxin. And it was one of the original ones, the first one that came out. It's the one that's synonymous with Botox. Say Botox, everybody knows what that is. But it's actually a name brand. And there are other forms of botulism toxin, which go by different names. So there's Dysport, Xeomin, there's the new one, what is it?
Juvo.
Juvo, that's the
It's
new one.
very French.
And basically, they're all the same thing with a few little tweaks and modifications, but they all have the same mechanism of
The
action.
concept is the same. You paralyze the muscles, they don't move, and it's just like when you put your hand in a cast, the wrinkles on the back of your fingers go away because there's no
Because
movement.
they're not moving.
That's right. So that gets rid of the wrinkles by not moving the muscles.
Right. And it lasts, depending on the person, and each person has a different metabolism. Some people will go through it in 2 months, some people it'll last 6 months. So everybody's a little bit different. But again, it's temporary, it does wear off, you have to keep doing it.
I think, for me, it really helps with the crow's feet. I mean,
Oh,
if there's anything that's making me look like an old man, it is definitely the crow's feet.
No comment.
Need some help. Come on, let's go. We're gonna do
Right
this
after
on
here,
camera.
we got some Botox back
I
there.
got Botox
I'll hit
right
you
in the
up.
rock spa
Yeah.
there, no problem. The rock spa, so from my Medi-Spa arm of my practice, the rock spa goes through a ton of Botox. It is almost like everybody who comes in is like, well, of course I'm getting Botox, and then what else are we doing?
Botox and.
Yeah, I mean, they just, you can't live without it. You get hooked.
No, and that's the thing. And, asking who is a candidate for, how early can you start? Obviously we're not going to go around injecting teenagers. That's ridiculous. But I think once you start seeing movement movement, lines that form with movement. Now, obviously, anybody, even a teenager, is going to have lines with movement when they smile, around the eyes, or in the forehead when they move. But really, it's when you start to see them become more pronounced and obvious, that's when you're ready to do it. When it's too late is when you have those lines or those wrinkles when you're not moving, because then they just become sort of a permanent part of your face. And Botox can help them. They can loosen and soften those lines, but they're not going to permanently get rid of them.
Botox is the cure for what ails you.
It absolutely is.
It's also got some other cool effects. Hyperhidrosis.
Oh,
You
yeah.
treat smelly, stinky armpits.
Yes, it had the same neurotransmitters that cause you to move the muscles in your face are the same ones that create a lot of excess sweat. Under the
Right,
arms.
so when you put Botox in your armpits, then it shuts off the sweaty apocrine glands, easy for me to say, and you get a less stinkier armpit.
That's true. I mean, it's not really in place of deodorant, but it's for those people that have just excessive amounts of sweating uncontrolled with deodorant.
It's good for sweaty hands as well for that same thing. Botox is it's pretty awesome. I mean,
It's good
I like to use it on neck bands.
Mm-hmm.
These are good. You can do them here. I like to use them for. I like to use Botox for crow's feet, the glabellar lines, the 11s, as
right.
everybody calls them. But it's really about how you use it that makes people look the way they look afterwards. That's why you'll hear patients say, "Oh, I didn't like the way she did her Botox. I didn't like the way
Right.
that this one injected me." And it's because it's not that the injection itself is the problem. It's just that they didn't like where they put it and how much they put.
Yeah.
So the treatment is variable based on who's doing it.
And who's doing it and what the patient wants. And so I like to have a sort of relationship with my patients and have them come back for more Botox, because we'll start out and I'll start light usually on someone who I've never done Botox on before and see how their body responds to it and see what it does. Because you never know. You might have some patients who, routinely I'll put maybe 12 units in the forehead, but I have some patients I put 4 or 5 units and they're frozen. So
Really?
yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's like nothing.
It's like nothing, but that's all they need.
Oh,
So I
that's good.
typically start light, and then I want them to come back and tell me what did you like, what didn't you like, and sort of base it on that. But I think more importantly, when you're putting the Botox in on any patient, you have to look at their face and see how their face moves, because every
Helpful.
face moves differently. There's no cookie cutter pattern of how you put Botox. You can't just slam it in the same way in every patient. It really is an individualized approach in where you put it.
Well, that's the difference in having you or me inject Botox, because the one thing that I can't stand is when people ask me the question, how much do you charge per unit? Like, it doesn't matter who's putting the Botox in, and it drives me crazy AF. It makes my blood boil, because that assumes that the Botox is the value proposition for their cosmetic, for their aesthetics, and it's not. It's who's doing it and who's assessing you and how they're doing. I'm going to blow a gasket here, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's really infuriating. Like, that assumes that, oh, well, they only charge $9 a unit at this other place. You charge $17 a unit. I said, yeah, and I shouldn't charge by the unit. I should charge you. You should pay me to do your Botox. I'm going to do it right. And it doesn't matter how many units I use, whether I use 25, 30, or 4, or
Right.
I don't know how anybody gets 4. I find people all get a lot more than that. But the reality is like, how is the unit price relevant? Because that means that the physician assistant, who is now licensed and working under their doctor and is able to see a patient and assess them and inject Botox, and they just finished their school, is equivalent to you or to me in terms of being able to provide. I operate on those muscles.
Right.
When I do an
I
endoscopic
see
brow
them.
lift, I know where they
Actually know
are.
where they
I know where
are.
they live.
Yep.
I know who their neighbors are.
Absolutely.
I know how to
That's
make
so
them.
what it
I
is.
mean, come on. How is it possible that it's based on the unit price? That was genius by Allergan. The Allergan people were like, great, what we're going to do is we're going to sell it by the unit and take the surgeon, take the dermatologist. Like, is Ava Shambam the same as that, student who just finished and got their license? Ava Shambam's injected.
Absolutely not.
Because how many people has she injected with Botox? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It is not right to be like, oh, well, how many dollars per unit? First of all, I'm going to use less. Like, I hear people
And
like,
to use
oh,
less, yeah.
totally.
No.
I hear people, oh, I got $9 unit at this other place, but they had to use 75 units. I was like, yeah, no because they need to make some money on That's right. I'm going to do it for $17 a unit, but I need 20 units.
Yeah.
So do the math. You're paying a higher unit price, but you're getting less unit, and you're getting a better effect. Like, come on, people.
This is a hot topic for
I
you.
just can't.
You're
That's
really
why I
fired
say,
up
what's
over
with the
this.
Botox? It drives me crazy. I'm
I can
sorry.
see that. I like it.
I mean, it's like sometimes don't you just feel like you just be like, you idiot. Come on, really? Did you just ask me that?
You know, let me say this first of all. There are plenty of nurse injectors, physician's assistants out there
Who are awesome.
who are amazing
I
and
didn't
do a
say
great
anything
job.
about that. I'm just saying.
It's level of experience.
That's
though.
right. Like,
and just artistic
it's
touch.
different.
But there is
different.
definitely something to be said comparing a plastic surgeon or someone who's been doing this for many, many years and who knows it. Yeah, you get what you pay for in this life.
I saw a patient today. I feel bad even saying this. I just because she's gonna know I'm talking about her, and she's gonna start crying when I say it because it makes me want to cry. That paid in Beverly Hills $4,000 for a rhinoplasty.
The viewers can't hear this. that was the sound of my mouth just dropping.
I mean, $4,000. Now, here's the thing. She said she rolled into a room, IV in, slammed, woke up during the procedure, rolled back out, and the next patient rolled past her going into the OR. I said, do you think they even cleaned the instruments? She goes, oh my God, I didn't even consider that. So evidently, it's nobody I knew, nobody you know, who did the rhinoplasty, but I was just sort of horrified by it. I felt horrible for her. I don't want to sit here and talk Beverly Hills pricing because we're in a very weird market here.
Right.
But the cost to do a rhinoplasty, everybody sit down for a minute and just be like, if you imagined you had to go and like buy all the stuff and get the people together and get the room to do it in and get an office and get like sponges and instruments and sutures and get
pay the
all
rent
together.
for that space.
What do you think it might cost to do a rhinoplasty? And I'm not going to put out any figures, but I'm going to tell you one thing. In Beverly Hills, it's higher than $4,000.
It's way higher. Just the cost of opening a room and paying rent for a day is expensive in Beverly Hills.
Just
the real estate's ridiculous.
never mind the instrumentation, the nursing support. They had one nurse doing recovery and circulating, and no anesthesiologist, anesthesia by surgeon. So, you can do it that way. That is not against the law. It is, have at it. But her nose looked like it was a
$4,000 rhinoplasty. You get what you pay for.
It's like it's upsetting to me. I'm sorry. It just isn't. That's not right.
No, especially not when it's
And
on
that's
your
not right to do that.
face. It's on your nose. It's right on your face. Everyone sees it.
Okay, I'm gonna calm down now. The Botox thing got me going.
Because you're all fired up.
Because
What's with the Botox?
What's with the Botox?
Did we cover that
I think
adequately?
so. I think we're good.
Did
We'll come back
we
around
beat
to it
that?
some other day. Because right now I gotta
You're
go
just too
cool
fired
off.
up.
All right. Well, this is the Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery Podcast coming to you direct from the 90210.